Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Frank, Clueless Trading. It's a free market update webinar for April 28th, 2016. Full disclosure, this is purely for financial education and not for any solicitation or advice. Jay, can you identify yourself, please? Excellent. It's Fault Line, my good friend from way back. Thank you. All right. Let me kick off. It's as I normally start off with is the behavioral stuff, right? Then we get the technicals and all that. I want to keep this short. I want to keep this going into a 2-hour session because, you know, a lot of stuff's going on. You guys have things to do. All right, here we go. Number one, what you see in the background is what makes money right there in front of you. Right there in front of you. These lines, the zigzag lines, green and red, all the way around is what makes the money. Now, if somebody's sitting there and not looking to make money and they just want to do this as a part-time hobby, it's a different story because I got to pay bills, I have loans, I have debts, and I got bills to pay. So the fact is that we're going to go over some of these things here tonight, and this is not going to be something that is going to be that detailed and stuff, because if you want the detailed stuff, then you got to sign up, pay a few bucks for my time, and make yourselves a lot more money in the advanced coaching sessions. And the people who don't do that, well, what can I say? They keep on like, you know, bobbing up and down the volatility waves and wondering why things go the way they go. So I have nothing to say. A couple of important things here. This is one heck of a volatile market. I've said that for years. I've said that for months, and I'll say that again. It doesn't matter if Amazon goes up 70 points and none of you are in it. Because let me just put it this way. My service is meant for two things. It's meant for technical analysis that you see out here, which is very precise. Now, how we manage it, including myself, I'll be the first one to say that I get knocked out sometimes too, okay? And the internal stuff that I keep on teaching. So the fact is that if somebody doesn't want to spend the time and a few bucks for my time over the weekend to learn how to manage these markets, then good luck. Because what they're honestly doing, and I'm saying that straightforward. Okay, you heard my last video that I left out there, the advanced coaching session that I left out there for 2 hours. Well, actually for 2 days. The 2-hour session with people who paid for it. And that was the God honest truth. Because I am no different. I'm not a billionaire. I'm just a guy who's working hard to make enough money, not to brag, but to take care of things that matter to us. So anyway, the point is, the markets are one volatile beast. And going forward, it's going to get worse. So if you're not prepared for it, if you don't know how to read my signals, and if you don't know how to really understand what's going on in the form of the comments, the analysis of the new stuff. And believe me, it's very difficult to put all that through in the middle of the trading day. And I still try to do it. But the people who get it, there are traders, by the way, in my group. I know who they are. who get it because they've spent the time and the energy to understand it. They have gone through the macro fundamentals, the macro global economics, all that stuff, and they've understood parts of it. Because all I do, I have a boring life. I have a beautiful wife, a great son. There's one person in here who knows me very well. Okay? Not going to name who she is. So the point is that I try my best. But what frustrates me is people refuse to learn. And it kills me. You know why it kills me? Not because I'm making more money off them. My rates are still the same. I will be raising rates, by the way, very soon. And I know I'm going to lose a bunch of people, but who the hell cares? Because the point is that the people who spend the time and the energy to do this eventually will find their own path. They will know how to walk through these woods, through the forests of what we call volatility, markets, on their own. They will still need me for only one thing. They will need me for that gut intuition of understanding why markets do what they do. But they'll use the technicals and they will make, excuse my French, like we say in New York, a shitload of money. And yes, they will lose in the middle too, but they will still come out ahead. Point number 2. Okay, point number 2. During the day, I know everyone doesn't have the time to really push and look at all the different things and this and that. But the fact is, one of the key things about trading and investing too, I'm talking about long-term investing, is risk. You have to understand the 4-letter words called R-I-S-K. It's not a bad word. It's not what the media makes it sound. It's not what your little voice in your head says, risk, oh my God, I'm not going to do it. Risk in the old days was pure, simple, forward danger. Risk in this day that we live in, it has to do with robotics. It has to do with machines, which actually don't understand the concept of risk. What machines do is simply look to see where they can scare the living frigging daylights out of people out there. And that's what they've done since 2009. Since 2009. That's 7 years ago, right? I'm not making this up. I'm telling you the real deal. To the average mom and pop who got really somewhat hurt during the crash of 2007, 2008. But I'll tell you, mom and pop didn't really get hurt in 2007, 2008, like you hear from the media and all that, the big financial crisis. They got hurt. But like I've said before, it's because they were trying to flip houses. They thought they could make $1 billion, $1 million trying to flip houses in Oklahoma, in Boston, in New York, in New Jersey, and doing all that crap. And guess what? It came back to bite them really hard. So what do? They blame Wall Street. They blame the government. They blame everything that comes in sight. Simple stuff, right? There's always, there's always somebody to blame, but never blame themselves for what they did. So the crash that happened in 2008 in the market was primarily because of the housing crisis, not because of a stock crisis. Yes, there was complicity and criminal activity, in my opinion, like I've said in my previous videocasts, on what Wall Street did. But Wall Street is nothing. They play upon people's emotions. What I try to do on this service, the Clueless A trading service, okay? is try to open people's eyes to all that fact and show them that there is money to be made almost every week, almost every day in what we do. And we do it. Third point, why don't we ever make the big, huge money? We don't make the big, huge money because we're always scared. I'm putting our trades out there on small, I'm starting off from the bottom up, okay? How about that? On stocks like PRGN. Listen, my job is to monitor everything that's happening. I try my best. I don't have a staff of 10 for a simple reason. Because I don't want to give out bullshit, excuse my French, okay? Or New York City language, okay? On having a bunch of people just churning out like stocks and oh, buy this and buy that. I do it all on my own. Because I do care about you guys. I don't care about, listen, I care about you guys, but I don't care whether you're making money or not, because the reality is you don't care if I'm making money or not. If I have to pay back my loans, if I have to worry about about bills that are pending, IRS and the government trying to take all my money away. So, but I do care if you guys are participating in what we are doing. So here's a stock, which was a $45 stock, sitting here at $1.60. And where does it end up? At $1.75 and goes to $2.71. Can everyone see that?
Yes.
Okay, good. So let me highlight this part, okay? So here's this big block, a fat chunk money to be made. And of course, I wasn't there at 53 cents. I noticed it before because my job is to scour. I look at things, and I think that's something that everyone else can make money on. So I throw it out there. So you can buy a couple of hundred shares. You lose enough money buying, something else. And it's frustrating. But then what do I care? I get frustrated because I care. But then I look back and I say, what the hell am I thinking about? Why am I worrying about all these other people? So the point is, this thing goes to 266 while I give it to people at $1.60, $1.60 or $1.70. I ask for a response in the chat room for the people who are there. No one responds. Hold on. So we have a 64% gain on the money intraday while I give it to people at around here. Excuse me, at around here. Okay? And it goes up here. We get a 64% gain, and I'm not asking people to get a second mortgage and get this stuff. I'm asking people to simply say, okay, I'm going to bet on that a little bit. And within half an hour or less, it goes up here. I rest my case. What I'm trying to get at is this, ladies and gentlemen. It's not what I put out there, because I have back tested my alerts and my trades. And I come out smiling. You know why? Not because I'm making money. It's because they are so accurate 80 to 90% of the time. It's not even funny. But because all of you included don't take advantage of it, just kills me. I mean, honestly, just kills me. Vikram here is saying EXPE. Don't take me wrong, Vic, but who the hell cares? The stock is up $11 right now. I have multiple ER winners that have been posted on the site. I have EXPE, Baidu, I have Amazon at $74, whatever. I have LinkedIn up 15, 14 bucks. So great. So I'm a genius, right? I am nothing. I am simply somebody who is a sharp, gut technical trader who understands what's or tries to understand what is going on. But my question is, what the heck are you guys doing? So here is where the question time comes. I have Jay. Jay, who are you? Okay, fault. Did you participate in any of the earnings plays? Jay saying earnings. What part? Am I speaking Chinese? Yes, earnings. No capital. Fair enough. Understood that. All right. Shawnee, did you take any of the earnings plays?
No,
Any one
sir,
of
no
them?
capital.
Nothing. Okay. No,
No,
you don't have to. Listen, I don't need a Oprah type explanation. Fine. You said no. Vic, did you? Vikram, did you take any of the earnings plays that I put out?
Yes, yes, I took Facebook, I took Amazon, I took EXP.
Holy shit, that's amazing. Okay, that's great. I have somebody called Jaizu. Who are you? Jizu? My son speaks Chinese, I don't. Jizu, are you there? Jizu, are you there? Okay, I have a bunch of other people. Axida, did you take any of the earnings plays?
Yeah, I took Facebook.
Awesome. Okay,
Nothing.
fine. Listen, I take small positions on earnings, but small can get big. Funky said Amazon linked it with my own options plays, not enough dollars for common. Okay. Now, what do you mean your own options plays? I'm the one who put it out there. But congratulations anyway. Corey, you're there right now, right?
yeah, I just got on. I did Facebook, Apple, CMG, Linked, and Google.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. We've had a couple of hits. But what really shows the character of a trader is not, it's the fact that you're actually doing a little bit of it. See, the way I look at it is this. Believe me, I have had hits over my life on the business side that are far bigger than anyone can imagine. Because I know one thing though, every earnings is a gamble. We know that. But the fact is that you have to take some sort of measure which says, okay, this gamble might work. Now, the reason I like Amazon is a simple thing. We have cats, dogs, kids, everything. All right. Every time I mentioned this other night on one of my video casts, like in the middle of the night, like, look, I used to play table tennis at some time. They call it ping pong, right? I want to get back to it. I called this guy up in New York, big Wall Street guy. He's like, yeah, we have a club there going and this and that. I finally got a paddle. And this is from my high school days when I went to Boston, I used to play against the Chinese guys in MIT. They whipped my ass. So just give me a small example, all right? On Amazon. So I'm checking out this paddle. I'm thinking it's going to be like 200 bucks, whatever. Yeah, there were table tennis paddles out there for 500 bucks. I get one for 80 bucks or 90 bucks. A swipe of a finger. on his cell phone. Done. It's Peter Lynch's theory about what your gut feelings are on certain things. Facebook. Technically, I had no idea what it was going to do. But I knew one thing from my old days on being an analyst on Wall Street and a sales guy too, that Google's loss is Facebook's gain. So that's where my value added serves in. Because the fact is that stuff happens and you have to go and you can't be too analytical about it. There is the element of risk on the initial reaction of a stock. The initial reaction of what a stock is going to do has nothing to do with its fundamentals. I love it when members and traders on the chat room start to get really analytical. Oh, this PE, this and that. Guys, I love it. But you know what? It means nothing. I've said this before. I'll say it again. There are gurus on StockTwits who have 300 followers giving us analytical stuff in there. I have 23,000 followers who don't even know the way I think, but they like my charts. Why are there 23,000 followers on StockTwits? Because they like my face? They haven't even seen my face. You guys haven't seen my face. I'm actually not that bad looking. I'm just kidding. Somebody in here knows that. But anyway, so the fact is that they like my charts and they made some money off it. Howard Lindzen, the founder of StockTwits, sends me a quick note yesterday, 5-year anniversary on StockTwits. Yeah, means if I had 1/10 of the followers in there, I wouldn't even know Corey's name. Just kidding. I'll always know Corey's name. When we get to that 1,000, 2,000 member count, which is coming, because I don't do like outside marketing. I also remember who my original members were, the people who supported me, like Shawnee, like Exita, and Corey, who came in recently, has been a great supporter. Alex, who just came in recently. Vic came in recently. I appreciate it. And who the hell is Jay? Jay, can he identify? Oh, yeah, Faultline. And Faultline, who's been with me for a long time. And thank you for it. So here's the point here. And let's get into some trade dynamics, okay? Because this is what it really matters, not my philosophical rants on things, right? So here we are with Amazon. I've shown some huge multiple charts, very precise charts on day, and one of the most important ones was the one that I put out there, which showed the daily stochastics being completely oversold on the pullback on Amazon. And that excited me. And I'll go back to the first thing that I showed, those zigzag lines that actually make me survive. Because believe me, guys, ladies and gentlemen, I am no different than you. Believe me, I'm not. I'm not some Saudi prince. I'm just a guy who's just trying to do what needs to be done. But I have more courage than all of you put together. And I can assure you that some of you have a heck of a lot more money than I have. Maybe. But do you have the courage to do what I do? That's what I push forward. I try to push that into people every single day. So let's talk about a little business here, okay? Let me get that pen. So here you could have bought something for $1,000. Okay? Not something that's going to kill you and put you on the road and put you on welfare. Something might hurt if it goes to zero, but not something that's going to put you on welfare. So that baby right now is almost at 4,000 plus. So my question is, why don't people do it? Why can't you do 500 and say that's the complete risk money? I can lose 500. I'm sure some of you are big sports fans. And you buy these frigging stupid, excuse my French, tickets to the stupid ass games to make other sports figures billionaires. You Canadians like Corey, you make the hockey guys billionaires, but you're subsidizing their billionaire lifestyle where you can't spend 500 to make yourself richer than the way you are. Could be 2,000. That's what kills me when people don't do the ER trades. Why can't you take a small amount of dollars? I know I say one share, whatever, and they say, oh, we can afford to buy one share. What the hell are you talking about? Now, am I just bragging because the stock worked? No, because I'm there when the stock doesn't even work. So I don't get it. I just don't get it with a lot of you. Because this video cast is going to be heard by many. They're going to be heard by like 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 people. So I don't get it. Then why you don't want to take the risk? Because the fact is that if you're not in the game to do what needs to be done, let's say Amazon went down 100 points, so you lost all of this 500 bucks. Or if you had an option for $1,000, it went down to 200. Happened to me. Happened to me in Chipotle. But I reacted. That's going to be the next thing that I talk about. So it goes to zero. 500 goes to zero. 1,000 goes to maybe 200 bucks. Quantifiable risk. Q risk. The fact that people don't do it, you know what they're doing? It's not about the money. What they're doing is they're completely not learning. Because in order to play this game of what we call the stock market or the stock trading game, okay? The stock trading game. And I put enough tactical charts on Amazon. I'm just picking one very good example of it, okay? Stock trading game. You have to be in it to win it or in it to lose it. But at least you know what the characteristics are. It's like when you were young. I'm sure maybe some of you are. I'm an old man, right? Why do people go on dates? Because they want to see if that's the right person. So date a stock. I'm writing it down. And by the way, I heard that this service, which is GoToWebinar, has a handout thing that I can actually write things in, which is going to be great starting the next session. So date a stock. You have to get married to it. I know Corey's married to Chipotle. I'm just kidding. And Chipotle's going, by the way, a lot higher. So date a stock. Why can't you make a short date? And say, okay, I'm going to buy a few shares. Forget this one share garbage that I talk about. How about 10 shares of any stock? Goes up 50 bucks, you make $500. $500. Goes down, you lose $500. Is each of these numbers going to kill you? No. But if you make $500, which a lot of my ER earnings have done, you get the confidence. That's what brings me to the next thing. It's called confidence. Now, I talk about these things because I deal with it every single day of my life. This is not a script. The reason Donald Trump is winning every single primary around America is not because he's a great frigging guy. In my opinion, he's a frigging idiot. But you know what? He has a lot of good ideas, but he talks from his heart. And everyone else sounds like a frigging robot. So I'm talking from my heart. I deal with numbers every day. The numbers are bigger. My losses are bigger, but I make them up. What do you guys do? You get scared? Fault line keeps on complaining about every single thing that happens in the market. Always comes in late. I like him. That's why I'm saying this. He's got into some heated arguments with me about this stuff. I'm still alive. He's alive. But does he get the grasp of the market? Nope. Because he's always thinking, oh, the market's, trying to be an over-analyst. Do not be an analyst. I'm writing this down. Do not be an analyst because you don't have the capability of doing it. Not because you're not educated. Do not be an analyst, okay? Because the best of the analysts don't know what the heck they're doing. All right? So stop all that garbage. So here's one stock, all right? So let's go back to the original thing. So from a behavioral standpoint, which I'm going to stop right now because I know people are going to be tired of hearing my voice. I'm sick and tired of people being scared. Take some position. So at least you know what pain feels like, because what comes after pain is pleasure. And I'm so sick and tired of people that I work so hard every single day of my, since I started the service, charts I'm putting across, and they are still not acting on it. Lose money. That's how you gain the big money. You think you're going to be like really rich in this business by winning every time? No. You have to lose first. It's called risk. You have to lose first. Now, you might be in other services, like Alex told me one time, I said, so what? Don't carry a baggage all the way around. If you carried your baggage, you wouldn't be married to somebody right now or seeing somebody who actually likes you, because your baggage from back then is probably bad. Risk. Embrace it. Quantify it. Now, how do you quantify it? It's through all the technical charts that I put out there. The passion you hear in my voice is not to put people down. It's to bring you guys up. Because that's what I do to myself. You think the bigger you get, the more problems you have. But it's how you deal with them is what matters. The smaller you are and the smaller you think, oh, I can't lose $500. You will always remain small. So let's look at another stock. Every chart that I put out has a message in it. Every chart. LinkedIn. I constantly kept on showing LinkedIn for the last 3 weeks, for God's sake. And if people want to know what it looks like, well, this is what it looks like. This is what I kept on showing. Drawings. Remove all drawings. Where is it? Sorry. Okay, I lost a bunch of money on this LinkedIn thing. Made a little bit back up on the after hours trades and this and that. So here's LinkedIn. I've been keeping on saying, listen, LinkedIn, $98. The stock is where right now? 133. And you know what? It's going to go higher. Because you guys have no idea about who LinkedIn was started. The guy Hoffman. Fat Jewish guy with the smartest brains in the world, one of the best venture capitalists in the world, and a great man. The original LinkedIn founder. So you think, oh, LinkedIn is really bad. Oh, stock's like, finished. In the meantime, I'm showing you technicals all the way out. And may I ask who actually bought LinkedIn from the levels that I was showing, which is around the $100, the $107 level? No, seriously, this isn't this. I don't do these webinars to have a sweet talk about, oh, everything is nice. This is a seminar to webinar to wake people up a little bit. I'm not going to change your habits. You're going to say, Frank's a jerk, he talks big and this and that. I don't talk big because every single one of my charts talks big. I don't need to talk big. Do I do mistakes? Oh, I do enough mistakes. And the most mistakes that I do, just you guys all know, is when I don't follow my charts to exactly the way I draw them. So may I ask politely that since I proposed LinkedIn all the way down in the low 100s, who actually got into the stock and has been there here and there, going back and forth? And now that it's broken out of the channel, is it rocket science to figure out that the stock is going to go back? People say, oh, well, I sold it at 143 and now this stock is going to go to 150 bucks. I've shown the gap. This is the gap. Gaps get filled. How many times do I have to say it? Rectangle, here's a gap. Bingo. Stock is where right now? Where is the stock right now? Anyone live? Do I get a response?
123.
LinkedIn is trading at 133. Shawnee, are you what platform are you using?
TD Ameritrade, Thinkorswim Toss.
Okay, so why are you saying 123 to me? What is the after? Well, no. What is the? This is the next topic I'm going to cover. Is reading things accurately. And I'm being nice, okay? Just I'm being tough, but seriously, toughness means that you're going to be making more money down the road. Why are you saying 123? That was the frigging close of the stock.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong time frame. It's 132.94.
Okay, so let's do this, okay? So the stock is somewhere here. 133. Okay? You honestly believe the stock is not going to cover this gap? I don't care whether you use LinkedIn or not use LinkedIn, and I use LinkedIn, and people always want to connect with me, and I'm like reject. I don't give a crap. The stock is going to cover a good portion of this move right here that it fell from. So that brings me to my very important topic that has to do with making money. Everybody's got all these great tools that I'm providing, okay? But they're not focusing on anything. Are you guys really serious about making money? Because I don't think any of you guys are. guys and girls, okay? I don't think any of you are. Because the stuff that I give out, you have to take the risk and say, you know what, I'm going in. I'm not talking about earnings plays. I'm talking just in general. S&P calls that I do and puts that I do all day long. You have to really take the plunge. If you don't take the plunge, you never see the beauty about making a 5-figure day. Has anyone here made a 5-figure day? I think I'm talking English, okay? I do need a response.
It's been a long time.
Okay, that's a good response. Anyone else had a 5-figure day in their lives in trading? Okay, they said never good. I need some more responses before I boot them out. Alex, have you had a 5-figure day in the business in a couple of months or whatever? And who's Jiaosu? Jiaosu, please identify yourself because otherwise you're gone.
Yes.
Who are you?
Can I type?
Of course you can type.
Well, I don't see where I type. It's
I don't care. Are you here from StockTwits or are you a member?
yeah, I'm a member.
Okay, that's great. So welcome. You don't have to be shy. And so what's your Twitter handle?
It's the SUEXIE 734.
Okay, so welcome. Don't be shy. You know, please speak up. You know, I'm not that tough a guy. Okay, I'm just So I'm welcome. Okay, so the reason I'll tell you why a lot of you have not, and I don't do 5-figure days every day. Okay, and there are members in here, just so you know, that I'm not going to name, not tonight, who make high 5 figures on my trades. And I think you know who some of them are. And here's the best part. They're not even putting in that much money. But you know what they're putting in? Faith in what I produce. That's what all of you guys are lacking. I know you like me. I know, Frank Clute Trading is a fun guy. He jokes around. He gets hard. He puts a smiley face. But you don't believe in the charts I'm producing. So when will the day arrive that you actually start believing in what you need to do? You could have a 5-figure day on 2 contracts on Amazon as we speak, after hours. 3 contracts on LinkedIn. 5 contracts on Expedia. 10 contracts on Baidu. You could have $60,000 tonight. But you don't. And you look around and say, oh, And then some of you blame the world, the markets, your grandma, blame everything that's around you. Get angry at yourself for all the stupidity that you do because of all these amazing things that I produce and give to you guys. I'm giving you guys a gift. You're not using it. I'm not bullshitting. How many times have we had 200-300% returns in the middle of the day on S&P and Russell 2000 contracts? I need some answers.
Too many to mention.
Even tonight, today, I said short the market, right? It was $3, $4, $5. They went to 18. Was I there till 18? I won't lie, no. I scaled out on the way out. And the last part I gave out at 18. I said buy the calls this morning when the market was about to ratchet. Yes or no?
Yes.
And instead of Shawnee, I want other people to talk, think about what the heck they're doing. Because honestly, if you're not benefiting from all the hard work I'm putting through, don't pay me that frigging $60 a month. Because you know what? It's hurting me. That's what I'm talking about. I'm putting out there, we're taking out 100%, 200%, 300%. This drop alone was 500%. You can't put $500 in there to make 500%? For God's sakes, I am sick and tired of the excuses that I hear from people that they can put $500 to buy one put or one call on the market, because I'm a long short trader. I'm bullish on the market overall. Yes, I do believe the market has a little bit more to go. Not just because everybody's lying in the cave and not investing, because technically I see that we can get to 21.15, 21.20. But intraday, we're doing all this stuff and you can put $500 in it? I'm not even talking about big players who are putting in 5,000. I know traders in my group who are putting in 5,000 and taking home $30,000 during the day. And the reason that no one posts all that stuff, because I have a strict policy that nobody should brag about what they make. Because we are not here to put other people down. So you hear the pain in my voice? Is it because I suffer the pain? No. It's because I see how stupid all of you people are. That you don't do with all the hard work that I put across. This is a picture of the e-minis that I worked so hard during the day to show you all. My Twitter feed is full of actionable information. Today was Thursday. Today was Thursday. We started the day at 9:30. I was running late today. I had to deal with some family stuff. We got a massive run up here, which was good for 100 to 130% on buying cheap calls at what? $2, $3? Now, no one's saying that, oh, I just hit the bottom. I know I can buy it here and I'm going to sell on the top. I don't. I get the meat in the middle. Then the market tops. I get the 1 hour resets. You think it's a funny thing that I put out there? This is hardcore stuff. And I'm showing you on TOS. This is Think or Swim. Then I show you on the Algo Quad HFT thing. You know how much time it takes me? I'm not complaining. I'm just saying the truth. To copy and paste all those charts I put out there, is it just there for artwork? In fact, I should sell it in Sotheby's sometime. So I say, okay, there's the market's starting to get overbought, blah, blah, blah. Stick with the shorts, whatever. Did I know this was going to happen? Absolutely not. Big question mark. So I take profits here, 80% off here, and then that 20% goes to nuts. What does it go from? $3 to $18. For God's sake. No, I mean, seriously, I'm laughing. Somebody gives you something that goes from 318. It's unbelievable. It happens all the time on my service. And you, excuse my French, and I love you all, bozos, don't take even half the trades. Oh, excuses. I was busy. I was doing this, that. Yeah, in the meantime, you're sitting there watching this stuff. It's not the excuses. It's you. You can buy something for $300. Worst case scenario, you lose it in the bucks because the market goes way higher. Not going to happen with certain technicals being that overbought. So either you make 300 to 500, or you get the lottery ticket at 18. I don't get it. And I think a lot of you are listening. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And if some of you are not getting what I'm talking about, then you're truly insane. It's truly insane. Because I can't keep on delivering such precision work every single day. Yeah, I know I can, because that's my job. But honestly, it just kills me, the stupidity of so many people out there, because they are not taking advantage of my precision work. And this is not the precision chart that I show. It's all there on the Twitter feed. And more importantly, people like Shawnee, people like Exita, people like Vic, okay? People, yeah, those three people particularly, who take the time and the energy to put the few bucks in to understand the stuff that I teach, are the ones who truly, very soon, will make the really big money. And Corey, I love you to death. You always give me excuses. I am going to start doing the sessions on Saturday morning like I used to, off my time, just so all of you people can benefit. I know that people have to do certain things, obligations and stuff on Sunday evenings. I understand that. The reason I do the Sunday evening ones, because it is very correlated with what's happening with the Globex markets in the global markets on that evening. So it's very relevant to that. But every time I do a free seminar, a lot of people show up. Being stingy is the best way to be poor in this business. Just the way people say, oh, I'm chasing a limit. I can't buy something at $1.60, the options, because it's run up to $1.80. Yeah, other services will tell you a smart way to do it. I say stupid. You want to think big. You think a stock is going to go up? Who cares if you're buying the options at $1.60 or $2? Because your goal is to make $9, $8, not $1.60 to $1.80. Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, written back when? In the early 1900s? Guys, America was not built on stinginess. Our country is built on big ideas, big thoughts. Seriously, I know I really get frustrated with the crap that I see in my service. Because I know my service is going to get huge. Because now it's all organic marketing, okay? And then when it gets really huge, I wanted the luxury of knowing you guys by name. I'll be honest with you. All right? But I'll never change as a person, because I'm not here to disrespect anyone. This is an early read on tonight's moves. Multiple ideas. Small portions have to be taken. Yes, you lose on a bunch of them. You lost on a bunch of them. You know the guys who lose a lot? Or ladies and gentlemen, guys and girls who lose a lot? The ones who are true, real gamblers. You always have to be a risk taker, but you have to quantifiably gamble. You can't put in $20,000 into a stock. You think, oh, it's going to go up, on earnings. You'll lose it. So, I'm going to leave this open to questions, because what it really comes down to is this. When it comes to the lines, right? So the lines are what, and I'm not talking about party lines you guys all did when you were young, okay? I'm talking about the stochastics, things that I live on. I live and breathe stochastics. I wake up in the morning, I look to see what the stochastics are. I don't look at the price chart, because I know these stows are what's going to do it. What time is it? 9:11? 9:11. Whoa. Someone got killed that day. So I look at the quick stochastics 1 hour. I look at the 4 hour to get a direction of the day. By the way, somebody mute the microphone, please. Sounds like they're in a warehouse or something. I look at the daily to get an understanding, but the dailies are more tricky because, daily stochastic. So the bear looks at it, dogmatic bear looks at the bear, this daily stochastics, doesn't care about what the circumstances are out there, right? We were supposed to crash today, like big time. We still made money intraday and after hours. While the market was down 211 points because of the Japanese overreaction to the fact they didn't go into negative rates. So you look at the stochastics like daily, like, oh my God, yeah, we're going to crash down here. I have no idea. Oh, this is the weekly. I'm sorry. So daily is actually oversold. Then let me get back to it. When a daily stochastics get this oversold, and it's getting there, it's not there yet completely because the green line has to somehow come below 20. That is the best buying opportunity that you can get, like we did at S&P 1800. At which point, many of you, I'm not pointing fingers, including myself, were scared shit, except I showed both probabilities of pattern symmetry that we might have a possibility of going back to 2000, which is exactly what happened. But when the dailies get this oversold, and this is not rocket science, this is simple stuff. There are guys out there on StockTwits and other services that are used who are so much smarter. But you know what the difference between me and them is? They are so much smarter in lines and complicated charts, but their market forecasting is a big fat zero. That I will stand by. My market forecasting has been accurate for many, many, many years, because I feel the temperature of what is going out there. Sentiment, macro global, understanding global economics, actually having an understanding what economics is all about. Because most of you, no offense meant, and most of the people on StockTwits and stuff had no frigging idea of economics, real economics. They're all about like politics. I hate the Fed. I hate Obama. I hate this, that. And this is coming from a real Republican, okay? A fiscal conservative. I hate this. I hate that. The markets are propped up by the Fed. Garbage. Sick and tired of hearing all that stuff. It's all manipulated. It's all money printing. You don't even know how the Fed works. Money printing. I think I mentioned that in the previous video cast. Don't let me start on it. I'm no fan of Janet Yellen or anyone else. I'm a fan of what my P&L looks like, because that's what my wife, my kid, and my pets and my friends survive on. So here, stochastics gets down here to these levels. Buy the crap out of Dodge, okay? And we're getting there. This green line needs to shoot down a little bit more. So we could have another 100-point drop, 200-point drop. What is that to panic about? It's a trend change? Maybe. I'll tell you what I see a trend change. I've showed you guys many times, multiple times. Okay? Where the 34 and the 50 crashes and where the trend change starts. Is it that easy to identify? No. Because even in the worst bear market that we went through, and I went through 2000 when I was a rookie, I didn't understand the markets, and I was just a, big shot up and coming sales guy, like coming through, So somebody fault line, stop asking me such a long-winded question right now, okay? Because I don't have the time for it. Just listen to what I'm saying. Seriously. I like fault line. When it gives a cell signal break of love. Everybody's looking, and this is this last topic I'm going to cover tonight. Very simple. Look at the dailies. Look to see it's getting this deep in the dark. That means certain things are getting cheap. Look, the hard work I do. I tell you the stocks. I give you flyers at $1.60 that go to $2.66 and nobody takes it other than Sienna. Seriously, that guy makes more money than you guys have made in a year. Not because he's stupid. He actually does it. He takes the action. And he's not some multimillionaire either. Trust me. Some of you guys are much richer than him. But he's got the balls. No offense meant, okay? Okay, I'll take the word back. That's the Trump word, okay, balls, all right? He's got the courage to do it. And he's only been around with me for 4 months. I'm so frigging impressed with him that I want to follow him. So all of you should be ashamed. I'm dead serious. And that is meant in a good way. So anyway, so talking about this stuff here, and it's not just Sierra. There's a bunch of people, okay? I joke around with Jay Pester, you know, and this guy takes risks. He goes with this thing. He doesn't know how to read my charts even if you paid him. And I keep on pushing him to do it. Why? Because I want he's already a member of the paid coaching session. Why? I wanted some extra bucks from him? No, because he's good. But he goes with price. He doesn't look at internals. That is a fundamental flaw. Have to look at the simple internals, okay? So look at this. The red frigging line is below 20, the RSI. This is heading towards 30. At this point, it's a screaming buy. So yes, we could go from with the S&P down here at which I've showed before, 2075. Remember what my level was, which brings me to my other point. Study my charts. I did show 2060 as a level that we could possibly come to right here, which is a retest of the, one second, right there. Kiss the 34, 2061. Between this and this, it's another 100 points. End of the world. No, it's not the end of the world. You know why? Because we are doing some real, what's it called? Dumpster diving, right? That's what you call it, dumpster diving. That, to me, is exciting. Maybe not to you guys, because you guys are all like filthy rich. You don't want to make money. This dumpster diving of the stochastics is exciting to me. Just the way it was exciting to me here. And the market went ballistic. And everyone's like, oh, bear market, you know, this and that. Oh, yeah. A bear market will start when economic fundamentals and central banks coordinated rate rise start to happen. We are raising rates because it's high time we did. The rest of the world is taking the mantle of what we did over the past 3 years, which is QE. Our QE is well gone. The hardcore, like, you know, right wing, like, not right, like hardcore right wing. I'm a Republican, not like hardcore fanatical. I hate everybody, you know, who looks different than me type of crap, okay? They're like, oh, the Fed, they're into QE. The Fed's been tightening money supply for months now. If you understood anything about economics, our actual money supply has been shrinking, not expanding. There is no helicopter money coming down. If that was the case, I would love it. You know what the helicopter money is? Google it. So
Ben
here,
Bernanke?
Ben Bernanke didn't even do helicopter money, okay? He coined that term. You know what helicopter money is? When you get a check in the frigging mail for the government for $2,000 to go do what the hell you want. Have you gotten that ever, Shawnee?
Yes, sir.
Well, you you have gotten $2,000 from the government to go do what the hell you want? How did that happen?
He lives in
Disability.
Alaska.
Yeah,
He lives in
obviously.
Alaska.
No, yeah, North Pole. Obviously, like Shawnee, how did that happen?
Disability.
I'm not asking for personal stuff. I'm asking about actual tax things here. I understand what you're saying. That's a different story. That's personal. I don't want to hear about it.
Alaska does it. Alaska cuts checks
I
to
know.
everyone that lives there.
I know people around my neighborhood who were in the vicinity of 9/11, which I was at right on Wall Street. I was covered in soot from other people's dead bodies. Took me 19 hours to get home. I never asked for a single dime from the government. I know people who abused it, put their names down, and still to this day get $4,000 a month from the 9/11 fund. It makes me sick to the stomach, and they're completely healthy. That's what I call abuse of the system. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
I could have put my name down that day because I was almost dead. I was like almost finished, okay? Saying I was there anywhere in the vicinity of 10 miles. And sometimes I think back and say, why shouldn't it? Why didn't I do it? All these other bozos did it. They still to this day after all these years get the check. You know what? Because I couldn't sleep with it. To take money from other people who suffered and died. That's what corruption is all about. Let's get back to technicals, okay? So here we are getting down to these levels here, and people are like, bear market? We're talking about consolidations. When the bear market starts, you won't even know it. Market's topping is a process. Just the way market bottoming is a process. Is this the bottom? Is this the bottom? Is this the bottom? Corey used to ask me, when's the bottom? Remember, Corey?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and it's a good way. I'm not saying in a bad way. And like the bottom is when you stop asking about it. Technically, I could see a bottom forming. I just couldn't pinpoint it. It hurt me too because I bought here, like, S&P calls. Oh, it hurt, So I kept on there. But I kept on believing that this bottoming process was taking place just the way it did here. And it paid. Now, did we know it was going to get all the way up here? Absolutely not. Some other service will say, yes, we pinpointed the bottom. It's a double bottom. And we made $1 billion going up here, Well, good luck. They're all garbage. We staggered. We took profits. We staggered. We took profits. We staggered. We took profits. We missed out on a couple of runs. And now we are getting back to the same internal bottom that we saw during the terrible, scary times back in January before the market turned on the first week of February. Internally, we're getting there. Does that mean that we're going to have this type more of a run? Absolutely not. I have shown through all my tactical charts that I believe that 2120, 2115 is probably going to be a good tradable top. What does a tradable top mean? Mean a top that you could short and possibly remain short. But you know what happens? And this is the last thing I'm going to say. There are significant amounts, and what I've talked about, and it's a fact, of institutional shorts who are so short that unless they get burnt out, technically speaking, the market is not going to top. Goldman Sachs had crappy numbers. The stock went up $15. Options went from 3 to 19. Why? Because I bet you there were some serious hedge funds who were short Goldman to the point where the pain was unbearable and they had to cover. Let me show you one last thing that none of you ever know about. The Japanese yen. Yesterday, Kuruda came out, the Japanese governor, bank governor. Is he stupid? He's probably a heck of a lot smarter than Yellen. His family was probably burnt and singed during the Hiroshima bombing, okay? The Japanese are a very powerful race. Let me tell you something about Japanese, okay? They are a unbelievable nation. They are the most racist nation that you'll ever know in your lifetime. Okay? Does it mean they're bad people? No. They're just very ethnocentric. Ask a Japanese to marry a Korean. Learn something from me, okay? Trust me, I know these things. And no, I'm not Japanese. Ask a Japanese what they think of a Korean. They'll say, oh, very nice people, very smart. Not my type. They're very low class. That's how they talk about Koreans. The Japanese abused people in Southeast Asia during the Second World War in levels that you don't even want to know. We built Japan back, the Marshall Plan, because we like bombing the heck out of people and building them back again. Look at Vietnam. Okay? A war we could have won, but we lost. And what do we do now? Give them billions of dollars to build their infrastructure because they're doing a lot of business with us. Canada. Just kidding. Another nation we should... Just kidding. Okay. I have to always say it. Half my family is... wife's side of the family is married to Canadians. But anyway, so the bottom line is, this is what is controlling the fate of the market right now. And I've shown this many times, and I'm sure some of you have actually taken the time and the energy to look at it. So let me tell you exactly what's going to happen. The Japanese yen right now, on the daily basis, looking at the technicals, the lines make the money. You don't need to be in Goldman Sachs right now. And by the way, just to let you guys know, and maybe some of you will leave me, starting in June, I'm raising the rates for my service. So take a gulp. Oh my God, it's going to go up to like $300 a month. No, it's going to be incremental increase, very small, just so I can cover my incremental costs that are coming up with all the stuff that I do. So just letting you guys know. So here we are. When we get down to these horrific levels, way below 20 on the RSI, which all of you know how to read. What do you think is going to happen? The Japanese yen is going to completely like go nuts against the US dollar. Remember, this is a chart of, and everyone has to get this straight to the head. I went through this video cast before. Okay. 111, I mean 112, sorry, 107 point, let's call it 108. So 108 yen versus the US dollar. Remember, it's a correlation. It's an inverse correlation, right? So if this number goes higher, as it was going higher before the drop yesterday, and that's why we had a drop in the market today in the morning, is negative. In other words, the lesser the value of the yen gets versus the US dollar, that means it's strengthening. Does everyone get that?
Yes.
Yeah. So right now, 1 US dollar, it's party time in Tokyo actually right now, you know, is 107, what is it? 107, let's call it 107.5. Can everyone see that?
Yes.
Okay. So 107, yeah. Good, Charlie. So 107.5 yen. It's actually an amazing time to go to Tokyo. If I was single, I'd be in Tokyo right now. Go in the Ginza district, you know, go out to hit some bars, great drinks, amazing sushi. Stay away from all those like freaky little bars, right? Tokyo is a great place to be in right now, because for every dollar you can actually buy 107 yen. In fact, I'm wrong. It would be much better if you could buy, for every dollar you could buy 113 yen. Does everyone understand that?
Yes.
Exactly. So this is how you write the yen, I think. Okay. So bottom line is we want this chart to turn higher. In other words, for every dollar you are buying a bigger amount of Japanese yen. In other words, the Japanese yen has to weaken, because with the Japanese yen falling the way it's doing right now is not a good thing. And that is one of the biggest dangers in the market as we speak. Why? Because, and that's got to do with the carry trade. I don't want to get into it too much. But the fact is that with a strengthening yen, because the yen is strengthened, because if yen, let's say for example, and I want everyone to answer this question, okay, is if the yen goes to 104, what does it mean? Against,
Risk off.
in a big time risk off. So for every one US dollar, you're buying how many, how much of Japanese yen?
Equivalent to 104.
104. Right. So in other words, not good for them, because it costs them a heck of a lot more, like I've explained before, okay, to translate yen into dollars, which they need to do big time, and it's a heck of a lot more expensive for U.S. companies to buy. I mean, for Japanese goods to be sold overseas, because it's a heck of a lot more expensive, right? Because it's so, because it's strengthening. In other words, when the Japanese yen is falling, it is strengthening versus the U.S. dollar. That's all you got to remember. So this is not a good sign. However, just like charts, we don't just look at price, we look at internals. What I like about the internals is this, that they are getting deeply oversold. Yes, maybe a little bit more, but once you get deeply oversold, what happens? You get a big reflex bounce, which means that the yen is going to bounce hard. Now, why this happened? This big red bar, let me explain to you why. Okay? It happened because the Bank of Japan meeting, which was last night, 1 a.m. in the morning, was supposed to be very dovish. In other words, Kuruda, the Bank of Japan governor, was supposed to say, yes, 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 we're going to do more negative rates. We're going to push down rates more. No, he stood firm. He said everything's going to remain the same, and we already have a good stimulus program going. We're not going to add stimulus. You guys follow me so far?
Yes.
Now, what do you think? If anyone can answer me this question, I'm going to graduate them to like, that's it. I'm going to give them the Clueless 8 mantle. What do you think happened that the yen, that the yen strengthened versus the US dollar by almost 4% today? Why do you,
Short covering.
short covering on what side? Somebody answer the question right.
The yen. They're buying yen because it didn't weaken, so they're all short the yen. They have to buy it up.
Yeah, who is this?
This is fault line.
There you go, man.
I didn't expect this. It's me.
You just hit it. Yeah, I haven't heard your voice in a long time. You just hit it. Can you repeat that again for everyone else, please? And explain
Yes,
it. No, fault. Explain it slowly so everyone gets it. I'm fucking impressed. Excuse me. I'm so impressed with you. But go ahead. So
The market was held up because of the yen carry trade, because everyone was shorting yen to buy dollars and buy U.S. stocks. So when the Japanese bank didn't weaken their currency, they had to rush to buy back the yen they had shorted, which pushed the dollar down and had everyone selling equities to buy back their short positions in the Japanese yen.
okay, that is beautiful. So I'll say that in very simple terms. when a trade goes against you, it is the worst possible feeling ever. Short squeeze. Like the rise in the market, like Walt has agreed with, we have talked about this before. A good portion of the rise in our stock market is primarily because of massive short covering, not because fundamentals have increased dramatically. Things have gotten better a little bit, but nothing that great. But the rise in the market has primarily because there has been massive short covering. Now, what Walt just said right now is, and I know that for a fact, that a majority of hedge funds and institutions expected Kuruda, who's the head of the Japanese bank, okay, they were basically short the yen. In other words, they expect the yen to go higher. I'm sorry, lower. Get it? They expected the yen to go lower because he would have said, oh, I'm doing negative rates, I'm doing this and that. Except he basically stood his ground and said, no, everything is okay for now, I'm staying the same. So the yen went higher, in other words, against the dollar, of course. Does everyone understand this? The yen went, against the dollar. I mean, instead of being at 112, the yen went to 107. That means it got stronger against the US dollar. And that caused this huge amount of hedge funds, pure technical move, to cover. Okay? To short cover. Because they were short. And that's what caused this big, massive move in the yen. And guess what? It hasn't ended yet. They still got billions of dollars worth of shorts they have to cover. Because they were short the short the yen. And the yen basically went higher. Does everyone understand that?
Yes.
Because this is not a chart of the yen value. This is the inverse correlation of the yen versus the US dollar. Okay? That's one thing everyone has to get through their head. So 107 yen against the US dollar means the yen has strengthened big time. And that's exactly that Walt explained. That is the sole reason why the global markets, the currency markets, basically just went into a state of frenzy this morning, which might carry through tomorrow. Just so you all know. So that's it. So bottom line is, going back to what we do here, have to develop the mindset to understand charts. I can teach you everything. You know why? Because this is not an easy game. All I know is simple things I've learned over the years through some pain, and I still go through pain. But when I see this, that to me is a short-term bounce coming. After what that happens, I have no idea. I've said it before that I think May is going to be a very tough month. I've said it before. But at the same time, we fall, let's say, to 2061, we get really oversold, you are guaranteed, almost guaranteed a bounce. Now that bounce will certainly not take us to new highs, but worth enough to a solid move on the markets. This necessarily is not good if you're just looking at the charts, because really what is the market doing? It's got a rising wedge, consolidation channel, moved up, consolidation channel. Will this consolidation channel break? If it breaks below 2030, I've said this before, all bets are off. Stay short all the way to 1900. No question about it. But till the consolidation channel remains a consolidation channel, don't make big swing bets on things. But most importantly, without getting too much into detail, trade. If you don't trade and you're waiting for the perfect moment, there is none. There are no perfect moments. Because in the worst possible times, you can make the most money. And in the best possible times, you will lose money. And you all know that very well. So stop just going over and over again with the same garbage habits that you've been used to. I am not some genius. I'm just a guy who just does things the way it's worked. That's all for now. Have a great evening. and don't overanalyze. Just like the Nike, like the Nike swish, like it goes like this, right? Just do it. Just do it. Don't have to go bet the farm on it. Just do it. Do something. If you don't do anything, it just makes you older, weaker, and just miserable. Clueless A Trading, signing off, okay?
Thank you.
Good night.